Hello everyone, welcome to day 221 of playing chess every day for you. Let's find the game. And we get the white pieces, so I'll play e4. Instant e5, so knight to f3. We can go straight into the Italian game. They jump the knight in with the Blackburn Shilling Gambit. I'll just go ahead and take. Taking the pawn is a big danger. After queen to f6. Hitting the knight and the f3 square. I won't fall for the trap of the Blackburn Shilling Gambit by taking the pawn. And it looks like my opponent has just closed chess.com instead of resigning, so let's see if they come back. Maybe they only want to play people who accept the Blackburn Shilling Gambit by taking the pawn as black, but I'm not sure why they'd be doing that. They can practice that in different ways instead of playing actual games. And that definitely isn't the way I would have wanted to cross 1200 finally, but let's have a look at the game either way. There was nothing wrong with any of my moves. The Blackburn Shilling Gambit just isn't good opening at all. If I just take the knight, if I go ahead and take the pawn, it's queen to g5, which is the big threat. It's queen to g5, which hits both the knight and the very weak g2 pawn. And the best move here is to just castle and give up the piece, which looks crazy because you just go down the piece for a pawn in the opening. And then knight to c3 is the continuation, but oh sorry, c3. But that's not what happens. Let's just go ahead and play a second game. And this time we're playing with the black pieces. And we're playing against e4, so I'll just stick to what I know best. They play a3 on the second move, I'm not sure. I've seen that before. They go ahead and push. I can push myself or I can bring my bishop out, which I'll do. Maybe the purpose of this move is that if I ever bring my bishop to the center, it would be blocked. I'll play e6 now and just solidify the structure. Next I'll play c5, trying to just remove the pawn. And if I play c5, okay, now I can just play now I can just play c5. There's no threat from them jumping in. Or maybe the threat is to come to this square, but then I'd just take with my bishop, so that wouldn't be a good move. And this square doesn't threaten a fork or anything. It does open up this check on my king, which they do give, but I can simply just block with my knight and I'll be okay. And obviously I'd love to take on this square, which would open up a big attack on their queen. They're trying to remove my bishop, but I'll attack theirs. They go ahead and take. That's actually okay for me, I just strengthen my center. If they go ahead and play a wild move like g4, I'd probably actually go back. I'd try to keep my bishop on the board. I wouldn't want to trade here. They go ahead and defend the pawn, and now taking for me would probably be a bad move, because the knight would hit both my bishop and my c6 pawn. I can probably just develop my knight. I've seen that knight to h6 is good, but their bishop would just weaken my structure here, which I don't want at the moment. I'd love to go to e4, but the knight is in the way at the moment. I don't want to take. I could push, but I don't think that's good. I could though go ahead and pin the knight, because then I'd be able to play in bishop e4. And if I go here and they attack me, we will just take. If I go here and they unpin, that would give them some dangerous moves, so I'd have to be careful. I'll probably start by just bringing my rook to b8 to the open file, just controlling more squares. I really have to get this bishop into the game. I don't see how I can do that though, without pushing on c4 at the moment. If I take, the queen can take, but if I take, the knight takes, which is a big problem. This is a huge attack. Could come up and pin the piece now. I think I'll go ahead and actually push here. Push. If they take, push though if they take, that's very annoying. I'm just giving up a pawn, although I will have an open file then. For my rook to be able to come in. I'll probably just play bishop e7 and slowly develop. I really have no good squares for the piece. I'd love to remove this knight to be able to attack the center. I don't think f6 is a good move. Although I would be able to take and then develop, so maybe it would be. They go ahead and target my pawn. And taking this would threaten a check, which would be very nice for them. I could go ahead and lock up this part of the board, but they'd be able to take and win the pawn. I could go ahead and just push the pawn. I could just also bring my queen into the game. And the queen here, if they ever bring their knight, I just go for a trade. This is such a weird way to have to develop my pieces. Maybe I could give them the pawn because of this bishop move. I'm not quite sure. I can just slide my queen over there to protect. My bishop really has no good squares to go to. And I will have to take on d4 at some point in the game. I'm already down on the clock. They go ahead and castle, which shows me that they have these weak light squares. There would be a very nice skewer here if I could get my bishop there, but I'm unable to. And pushing now, I'd love to be able to target these weaknesses, but the bishop's still there. I could go ahead and push to try to free up this bishop. I think at the moment I should just reroute my bishop to the dark squares on this side of the board. Bring my knight more central and then castle. So now they are attacking this pawn. Pushing through can't be good. Gives them such a powerful piece. Pushing through also just loses a pawn. Taking gives them a very nice fork though, which weakens my structure completely. Taking has to be a weak move, because this knight takes. It doesn't threaten a fork at the moment, but it does hit my bishop. But I guess if they take, I can play bishop over to protect this structure. The knight takes, it hits my bishop. I could try to save my bishop. I could also push. I'd love to save my bishop. I think sliding back could be okay. Don't think this is a good move, because they just kick me away. But then that would weaken their king, absolutely, so I think this might be a good move. If they have a push, I get to pin their knight to their king. They can't take at the moment. They go ahead and target my bishop, which is very annoying. I can counterattack them by pushing, and then the other knight has to move. And it doesn't have many good squares at the moment. It's actually trapped. It's actually trapped. So if it jumps back to f3, I could then push here. Wow, they go ahead and take the bishop because they had no choice. So I think because taking which knight is better, I think taking the dark squared knight is better. I don't want to damage the structure at the moment. Although this is just a clean threat of a fork on my king and queen, so I have to remove this knight first. And they actually give me the piece. I mean, I guess the material is almost equal, but I'm still surprised they did that. The queen goes ahead and takes. Now I can develop my bishop to these very nice squares. Very nice dark squares. I'll go ahead and do that. They don't have any good checks. If queen to a4 check. Queen to a4 check is very annoying, but I'll have to deal with it. I could also just go ahead and take here, which is probably the best move. I could just develop my knight though, and try to castle, which is probably quite good. This pawn's just a weakness for them. And I'm up a pawn now. I have an extra piece for 2 pawns, and I'll definitely take the extra piece. I can centralize my knight and just have a very nice piece in the middle of the board, controlling all these squares. And queen up is a move which has eyes on this pawn and protects this, which I guess is quite good for them. but it just allows me to castle and probably bring my rook to a better square, so I'll go ahead and castle, bring my bishop to b6, and then bring my rook to the center. And that will have to be good for me. Bishop b6 to control these dark squares. They go ahead and push, which is fair. I'll go ahead and just improve my bishop, bring my rook to the center, and just improve my pieces in general. This threatens to hit my bishop, but I can hit their queen with my rook. And my pieces are just staring down the squares. If the queen slides over, I have this move, which just hits the rook. If the queen slides back, I'll just bring my knight to the center. Even doubling up on the piece won't help them if I block with my knight, because of all these pieces on the back rank and the bishop. Like I said, queen to c3, I hit them with this move. They go queen to g3. Instead, probably long term trying to hit this square. But I can stop that immediately with knight to f5, attacking and defending. This pawn is hanging. This is just a free pawn that I can take. They can't attack my queen immediately, it's on light square. They could only try and go for a trade, which they can't at the moment. Queen over walks into this. But now it's actually worse for them because my knight also protects my bishop, not only my rook. They just walk into a skewer here. And it's actually bad for them now because they can't even protect their rook. And they actually go ahead and resign here. And we're completely dominating this position. Let's look at this game. I played the 76.9, they played the 69.2. They made one blunder and had one mistake. I had two misses. The opening was all good. All the best moves. I actually could have taken her. I missed that. I guess the queen just takes. And then I could tempo the bishop and we trade here. I go ahead and take the bishop. Rook over wasn't the best. I actually should have given them this fork. I'm not sure how that helped me. Bishop back is bad. I should have just taken the center. I was too scared to. I do now because of the fray of the two knights. I actually had knight to e7 just protecting both pieces, which is why I missed. I take the right knight. This is a blunder which just gives me the piece. They had to just go back with the other knight and accept the trade. Actually, I'm seeing that the knight is almost trapped here. The knight actually was almost trapped. Their best move was to, I guess, slide their queen over to try and trap my rook, which was fair because my knight wouldn't be really able to develop. I just developed my pieces naturally. I should have taken this free pawn because there's no way they can really threaten me here. Instead I play knight to f5, which is still good. And they just walk into a fork walk into a skewer, sorry, which just picks up a rook here. Wherever they go, I just win the rook. And I'm just completely dominating them in this game. That's a fantastic win today. We actually got 2 wins, but one of them was when my first opponent resigned. But either way, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.